Welcome to another video for WinBidPro version 15 by GDS Estimating. In this one I'd like to talk about details and how you can print them and configure them for your catalog that you're maybe using. We're using FCO Corporation here, and this has a good set of details for all the different frames in their catalog, and most of our manufacturers that we list for WinBidPro do the same. Now let's just edit the elevation framing system here. So this is the framing system just for the elevation on the screen behind us. And it's the same exact window if we were to edit the master list of framing systems, but we're just looking at this one elevations frame here. So I'm going to click on stock length material, and then we're going to look at this middle section here where all the different detail boxes are. And there's each component in this stock length tab has a place for details, and these have been configured. Like I say, with FCO they're good about that, and we can view one just to make sure that it's got the right information. So I'm looking at a head detail for a CAN system. It confirms that they've labeled it 100 for their detail callout label, and that's what we have entered in our label box here. So if I have if I want to edit this in CAD, I can click Edit, and it opens it up in CAD. And then if you don't have your own CAD program, like this is AutoCAD Lite, which I like, it will open WinBidPro CAD, which is an included CAD that comes with our software. And it will let you do things like change text or add text or do whatever you want to do in CAD, and then obviously print from there as well. So that's one way to print details. And if we close this, so we can do that. We can make sure that it's the right detail file. We can actually double click on something here, like a field where a detail would go. And I can actually browse for details. So here's where my details are located in my FCO folder under vendor details. So the vendor details are always going to be inside of the vendor folder, whichever vendor it is, and wherever your vendor is, like whether it's on your server, on a cloud drive, or just on your C drive. There's always going to be a vendor details folder. And then depending on the manufacturer, that could be broken out by system type. There's a lot of different kind of naming conventions that they've used. But this is where you can find details, and this is where you can also download details from the manufacturer's catalog if you're adding a new system yourself, or if you're changing the SIL member for a system for a given job or something like that. You can find and download a detail if it's not already there, and then save it to the vendor details folder or even one of the other folders that's already designated for that system. And if you know the file name, then all you have to do is click on it and hit open, and then it's going to add it to the field, whatever field you were in when you were editing. So remember, that was a double click to open that browse box. You find the detail that you've saved or that you're looking for, hit open, and then it saves it there. And then this is where we could add the label number, so I can see that it's 602 for this one because it's on their detail, and I can add it. And if it's not in their detail drawing, like if I look at this jam and this one's a 401, if they don't have the label in there, you can actually just create your own label just by typing it in here. And then I'll show you when we go over to shop drawings now. So shop drawings is another way to print your details, but it's also a way that the program combines and creates a sheet of details. So the first thing we need to do for that is make sure we've checked a box down here. So we were just looking at individual details in that framing system, and in order to compile individual details in one sheet, we need to click this box here, include individual details. Now we have the ability to scale them and change the spacing, but usually the default settings are pretty good for that. But if things turn out too big or too small or too spaced out, you can mess with these settings here and manipulate how they're laid out. Now if it was one detail file with all the details for the system in one sheet, we would check this top box here and uncheck the individual one. But in our case, we like the individuals. So what we're doing now, and another thing I want to point out is where it says generate detail callout labels. We don't need to do that because our details already had the labels that were entered into the label field where we saw those different numbers entered in. Those details were already in, the labels were already in the detail file themselves. So we didn't need to check generate callout labels. Now if these little boxes weren't here with the numbers in the detail, we could check generate callout labels and our software is going to put a little callout bubble with whatever number it found in the detail label field that was back in the framing system configuration. So that's where that happens. So the individual sheets of details are entered here. Everything's listed here on the right for a job. So the elevation details, the elevation drawings, and then the details for those systems that the elevations are using. So you can actually print all of those from here, or you can export them to the different formats, DWG, DXF, and PDF. And then from there you can print them even. So that's pretty much what you can do with details inside our program. Keep in mind that if you do export, you can always open them with something else like Acrobat or something to open a PDF and print it from there too. So that's about it. Thanks.